Hello and welcome to the Film Focus Online podcast. I am your host, Elliot Lines, and we are back after a little summer break. On today's show, we're going to have a look at the latest film in one of the biggest horror franchises, The Conjuring Last Rites. Plus, we're going to go through our guests' ranking of the Conjuring Universe. So without further ado, joining me today is Film Focus Online writer and horror guru, Shauna Bushe. How are we doing?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you, Elliot?
Yes, very well, very well. I went to cinema last night to catch the new Conjuring film. So, shall we dive straight into it? So, what did you think of Last Rites?
I thought it was fantastic. An incredible, heartfelt farewell to Ed and Lorraine specifically,
Hmm.
and of course the entire franchise. I thought it was the scares were still there. It was emotional. It felt very much like the first two Conjuring films for me. I
Hmm.
I I just thought it was excellent, very well done, respectful from Michael Chavez. He balanced the scares and the emotional aspects really, really well. I loved it. I left the cinema feeling very emotional and very
Hmm.
satisfied.
I mean, that's always a good thing to feel after 10 movies into a franchise. This is the fourth Conjuring film
Mhm.
in
Yes.
the universe.
Mhm.
you want you've gone through a journey with those characters, so it's important that it ends on that good note and leaves you feeling whole, I suppose.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
not got quite as a connection to the franchise as you. I've seen a few of the films in the universe. One thing I struggle with these kind of films is I find the second act more scary than the final act.
Mhm.
I find the bill it's almost like the Jaws effect where you don't see the monster. I find the build up more scary than the actual outcome. And again, I think this did sort of fall into that category again, but I think that's a personal thing for me. But I can see the resemblance to the first film and the second Conjuring film that it sort of got back into that sort of way of scaring. And yeah, so did you expect to enjoy this as much as you did?
I I was very skeptical considering the
Hmm.
trailer and the CGI looked very, very off-putting. And it was still kind of off-putting in the movie, but that did not distract from the overall impact from the movie. And I'm really sorry if you can hear the rain pattering on my window, by the way. It's absolutely torrential raining right now. Oh my God, I can just hear it.
As you can see here, it's bright sunshine.
I, I, t- I don't understand. It's so like the difference. It's weird. But no, I was skeptical
Hmm.
considering the CGI, and I was kind of worried about if it would ruin the story. How would they end it? And they ended it wonderfully. Yeah, the film was great.
Good. Uh, how did you find? Because it was quite a long film. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes,
Yeah,
which is
roundabout.
fairly long for um a horror film. The horror films you're normally looking at sort of 90 to 2 hours, 90 minutes to 120 minutes.
Mhm.
Did you find it lacked anywhere? Did you feel like it dragged at all because of that?
I no, no, I didn't. I thought it was very well paced. Every kind of
Hmm.
character had a moment to have specific kind of involvement in the film.
Hmm.
With the family who had the mirror, like you saw and spent a lot of time with them. You spent a lot of time with Ed and Lorraine. You spent a lot of time with their daughter, and even flitting back to Father Gordon, you got some time with him.
Hmm.
It was all very worked out well. I didn't think it lagged or I did that's something I actually thought I would get bored with like a long time frame, but it was paced very well and I was engaged a lot of the time.
That's good. I think it was important to establish the daughter a lot in it because obviously she
Mm,
was very key to the storyline. There were
mhm,
moments where I felt there was a bit of fluff that, probably could have cut it down by maybe 20 or so minutes, maybe a bit too much time spent with the family.
mm,
But I do feel like I said that those moments with the daughter and establishing role in the outcome and towards the end linking it back to their first ever case that they never solved was very
Hmm.
interesting to me, considering they'd apparently been through thousands and thousands a thousand cases,
Hmm.
and that's the one that they kind of didn't go back to. So there was a little bit of fluff. It could have been a little bit tighter for me, but yeah. So what do you think of the overall scares? What was your favorite sort of scare moment of the film?
I think the TV scare, the TV where she
Mm.
was pausing and rewinding, that kind of reminded me of um I think it was Annabelle Creation, where there's
Yeah.
kind of a similar moment in that film. It was like a parallel almost.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment it
It's
kind of
tense, wasn't
paused,
it?
yes,
Tense that moment
very.
because the first few times she paused it, you couldn't see anything at
Hmm.
all, and she kept going through, and it just came clearer and clearer and clearer. And yeah, yeah, I agree with that.
Hmm. Yeah, that one got me.
Think the for me, sorry, there's a helicopter going over my head. I think for me, when you first see the axe wielding farmer, that's the same moment, isn't it?
Yes,
Actually,
it is. Just
that's in the
happens
same
afterwards.
moment. It's just after that. Those sort of scares always sort of when you're not quite sure what's coming. And I think because of that tension build up with the TV, the pausing, and then that suddenly hits you, that got me. And I think it got a few jumps in the cinema as well. So, sort of, how do you think it racks up in compared to? I know we're going to go through the rankings, but
Mhm,
compared to the other Conjuring, just the Conjuring films, how do you think it stacks up to sort of those films, especially when we've only just had Devil Made Me Do It in what 4 years ago?
mhm,
Is there
mhm.
much comparison between them? How do you feel it stacks up to those?
I think it's on par with. I know I've did like a rough ranking, but I'll
Hmm.
probably gonna have to go through all of the films, and I'm excited to actually marathon them all again. But as a whole, I think it matches The Conjuring 2 for me in the ways of how it's so emotional, and it's just got a lot of impact with the Warrens themselves. They've got a lot more to lose in this one. And in The Conjuring 2, they were very like doubtful in helping the family and doing anything. But the relationship between the pair of them is what is central to these stories. And I
Hmm.
felt it in this one. I think it comes in about second or third place because of just Ed and Lorraine specifically, and the
Yeah.
overall like atmosphere and everything. The CGI kind of lets it down a little bit. They shouldn't have relied on that a bit too much. They should have stayed with the practical effects,
Hmm.
because proven in the first two, it just goes over
The
so much
practical works
better.
better. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. What moments do you think didn't work then with the specific moments like CGI wise?
Well, with the scary doll going around going, "Mommy, mommy," I'm like, huh?
The one that after it floated in the air, they decided not to get rid of.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was so bad considering now it's been like what 12 years, and they should
Hmm.
have just known not to have kept that in. But still, like I said, it doesn't take away from the overall tone of the film. Just that little one
No.
little thing. But then again, there's those couple of other bits with the lady downstairs who creeps behind Lorraine and tells her to
Yep.
shush. You can see
Hmm.
on her face it looks a little bit weird. But yeah, the scares are still
I
in.
think
It's.
they do. They're still there. I think. Like
Mhm,
I said, for me, the build up, a bit like you said about the TV screen, the build up of not knowing when you're seeing hands on someone's shoulder and then you're not quite knowing what's coming along. The
mhm,
other one that got me was when is it Judy, the daughter?
mhm.
Yeah, when she was
Yeah.
trying her wedding dress on
Yeah.
and the old lady disappeared and then she was in the wedding dress in the mirror and
Mhm,
grabbed her by the throat. Those
mhm.
those are sort of scares that get me. Towards the end when you've got Annabelle on the chair and then she becomes this giant Annabelle, I was a bit
Yes.
like I was a bit like I find those sort of things a little bit laughable rather than
Me too. Me
scary.
too. Yeah,
Um,
I wish she just blew up into this big thing, the big like chubby hand coming. I was like, "What are you
yeah.
doing?" So funny.
I have to say though, it was obviously effective because last night trying to sleep when there was a mirror on the wardrobe in the house we're staying at the minute wasn't the easiest to get to sleep. I have to say, but luckily nowadays they don't stick in my memory for long. It's just that
Mm,
initial after watch.
mhm.
So overall, you seem pretty positive about it.
I am. I am. I think it was the ending, like the final kind of 15 minutes that really sold it for me as well, because I just
Hmm.
thought that ending was the perfect ending to it. I felt the scares, I felt the tension. Yeah, it did everything I kind of wanted it to, I guess.
So as a Conjuring Universe fan, you feel fulfilled in what they've delivered in the final.
Yeah,
We say
absolutely.
final. We know what the film universe is like. If Patrick Wilson wants a bit more money, I'm sure he'll pop back.
Honestly,
He always
I wouldn't say no. They were
he's always
perfect
got
together.
he's always got his equipment in the back of the car, which I noticed. Oh, we're never going to do this again. We're just coming to get the daughter, but we've got all the stuff in the boot
Yeah, prepared for
just in
anything. You
case.
never know. Yeah.
Awesome. So, shall we now move on then to you're going to say rough ranking of the
Yeah,
Conjuring
yeah.
universe?
I mean, I say rough. I mean, I know what I've put down. But it's probably it's like the Scream franchise or like the Saw franchise. It's forever interchanging when I
Hmm.
rewatch the movies because, like, I'm always spotting different things on every rewatch. So it's forever interchangeable. But yeah, right now that's how I'd place it.
Oh, so so we'll go with your number 10 then. So number 10 is the Curse of La Llorona. Is that how
Yes.
um
Yeah.
this is based in 1970s Los Angeles.
Hmm.
So noticeably, when I was doing my research into these, this has got the lowest critic score, I believe, out of the
Yeah.
franchise, or right down there, and audience score. So tell us your quick thoughts on The Curse of La Llorona.
See, this one isn't thought to be completely canon in the
Hmm.
universe.
Hmm.
And I kind of understand that. I enjoy my folklore, like The Weeping Woman. It's a really
Yep.
intriguing kind of story. She was it's very creepy that the look of her in the white dress and the face of the black blood, it was all really really cool to look at, but the overall
Hmm.
film itself just didn't really place well for me. I didn't
Right.
feel as connected to the film. I didn't feel as
Yeah.
connected to the characters. It doesn't say that it isn't good. It is good.
Hmm.
It has some good scares. It is effective in places, but it is one of the one I feel less connected to.
Yeah. So I mean, the only sort of tie-in is Father Perez, who's from Annabelle, I
Mhm.
believe.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel like his sort of cameo was enough to make it tie in with the rest of the universe, or not really?
Not really. I think it was just there, to kind
Hmm.
of keep it, just something. But it definitely wasn't enough. Like you
No.
definitely need the Warrens or something of
Hmm.
them to really tie it in or just something else. It was just felt odd.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on then. So number 9 is the first Annabelle film, which came out in 2014.
Mhm.
She, I believe, appears in the Conjuring films. So this was the first sort of spin-off of the
Yes.
series. So what was your thoughts of Annabelle, the first one?
I liked Annabelle. It was good. It felt a lot more safe than the other ones. It didn't really use Annabelle as well as I would hoped it would.
Hmm.
Considering how Valak is used, the nun,
Hmm.
terrifying. Annabelle, I just didn't feel. as she was like used very well in that one.
Okay.
It
Do you
contains the
think
bleak.
then? So, do you think then that Annabelle works better as part of the sort of overall larger part of the universe rather than her own confined
Yeah,
film
yeah,
scares?
like she was used in The Last Rite. She was just kind of there
Mhm.
as a
Mhm.
tension builder. She was there just to kind of lurking in the shadows, kind of as just some another spirit added in to kind of make you
Okay.
nervous and unsettled. But as a standalone, it's not as scary on her own. But then again, dolls are kind of creepy. It's not to say that she isn't creepy or anything, because
No, no,
dolls,
it
porcelain
definitely
dolls,
is.
a no for me.
She has become a quite iconic horror sort of
Hmm.
object, hasn't she, in her own
Yeah, she
right?
has.
And
Yeah, yeah.
I think we'll see as we go through this ranking that actually the films do generally get better. Her standalone films do generally get better as
Oh, they
the
do.
sort of
But this
franchise goes
first
along.
one just didn't. It wasn't the best considering the first like Conjuring film, and then to
Hmm.
this one, there was quite a shortfall.
Yeah. Okay, so your number 8 is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which was
Hmm.
the most recent Conjuring before this one,
Hmm.
where the Warrens investigate a 1981 murder trial. It's got an all right critic score,
Hmm.
56, but the audience score was 83%, which I think is pretty solid. So, what do you think
Yeah.
of this?
See, I do like this one. I do like this one a lot. I think the balance of emotion and scares by Michael Chavez was really well done. It was just a jumbled up mix of the murder mystery and the family and
Yeah.
the Warrens. It just created kind of a gap, but it was still fascinating because of the murder mystery being an actual true life real thing. That
Hmm.
was really that was touched on really well. Yeah, I liked it, but again, this one with the CGI, it was
Hmm.
awful, very
Yeah.
very awkward to look at. But yeah, it's still a good film, still a good film. A lot of scares in it that were really well done. Camera work wasn't as good as the others, but yeah, I do like this one, just not as much as the other ones.
So it leans more into the true crime sort of drama, doesn't it, rather than the horror aspect. So you don't
Yes,
quite
yeah.
think that that mixture worked as well as, say, if it was in a haunted house
Mhm.
or like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite, not quite as effective.
Yeah, like that's exactly that's what I was thinking, just couldn't get it out there, like the true
Yeah.
crime more instead of its actual like paranormal horror elements. But
Yeah.
like
Okay.
they were mixed together, but it was just so mixed, and I don't think
Hmm.
they mixed very well.
Do you agree then that do you agree in it being the weakest reviewed out of the main Conjuring films?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
agree
like
it's
him.
the worst out of them?
Yeah, not like the worst because it's not like an
Hmm.
awful film. It was just the one I liked least. So like in my actual Conjuring Universe ranking, I have
Yeah.
2 on Rites and then The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah. 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 Cool. So your number 7 then is the third Annabelle film, Annabelle Creation.
Mhm.
So this got a lot better Rotten Tomatoes reviews from critics and audience than the first one.
Mhm.
What did you feel about this one being the third in that Annabelle franchise, sort of spin-off
See,
franchise?
yeah, this one was a great step up, and I think it was genuinely because of the children. Using the children to take the lead in this one created a lot of more tension in the atmosphere because obviously children are considered like innocents, vulnerable, they need to be protected, whereas in this one was used to be possessed by Annabelle.
Hmm.
And yeah, there was a lot of scares in it, like the under the bed scares, the
Hmm.
chair on the staircase scene, or the well, all of it. It was just a lot better. And I think it was the use of the environment as well of where
Yeah.
they were. And they had a lot more to work with. There's a lot more people involved. Yeah. This one was a great step up. with the scares, and the use of the children really
Hmm.
push that forward.
So it's set in an orphanage, isn't it? So
Hmm.
orphanages to me seem like a scary place anyway. um, but so that setting, you think, heightens the use of the doll and
Yeah,
the way
definitely.
there's. You said about the under the bed scene. They kind of used that in Last Rites when Lorraine looked under the bed and you could see the springs come down after there was meant
Hmm.
to be nothing on the bed.
Hmm.
So it's obviously something that they sort of jump between and stuff. How
Yeah.
do you think this sort of deepened or changed your view on Annabelle's backstory?
I think it just showed the kind of danger that Annabelle actually is, and kind of showed how not to mess with her. Like, she is actually quite more dangerous than you would
Hmm.
expect, and I know it's just a doll, but just the powers that grows with Annabelle, it just kind of don't know the word. It just proved that she was not to be underestimated.
Sorry, I'm just trying to work out where we are. And I'll correct myself because I said this is the third. This is actually the second in the Annabelle
Yes.
franchise.
Yes.
And obviously, prequels were quite common that they're actually worse than their predecessor. But I think where Annabelle didn't quite succeed, maybe they knew where to rectify it. Do you think that could have been a case? The fact that the first one didn't do so well critically,
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
kind
the
of
first
listened.
one, yeah, with Annabelle, they used other people to kind of come in and use the doll to be a conduit for evil. Whereas in this one, it was all Annabelle. Annabelle didn't need no help from nobody. She just showed that she was like her own kind of girl. It's like, I can do this myself. I could possess this person fine. I don't need your help.
Like that. So we're going to stay on the Annabelle train here, and your next one, so number 6, is Annabelle Comes Home.
Hmm.
So was this a good lead on from the second one?
Yeah, I thought this one had great continuity.
Hmm.
And it finally gave Judy her first kind of leading
Right.
role
Okay.
and her first kind of lead into the franchise. This is also the one that has the first, well, um this is where the whole Magi said from Rites came from with the TV.
Yeah.
And that scene was so freaky, just freaked me out. I think this one had more of an unsettling vibe because of where it was filmed and where it kind of took place, like in the actual Warren's home with the occult
Hmm.
museum. Like, you knew there
Yeah.
was a lot more to be afraid of there.
I tell you, that's one of my favorite parts is when he walks into that little room with all those artifacts. I was like, what do they all do? Tell me.
Yeah, I'd
So
be
the
too
Warrens
scared to
took it.
walk in there.
I see. I'm surprised the boyfriend slash fiance was keen to sort of walk in there.
Yeah,
They're
it's
just sitting
like,
on the shelf. Don't touch anything. They're just sat
yes,
there.
yeah, just walking around like looking, and it's like, what's this? And like, get out of there, just get out.
So the Warrens took a bit more of a back seat in Annabelle Comes Home. Do you think that works? You obviously mentioned that Judy took a bit more of a forefront in this one. Do you think that
Hmm.
works well?
Yeah, I
Did you
think,
like that about it?
yeah, I did. Like, they were still there. They were still around. You saw them like in the beginning and kind of like towards the end. So having them in the movie still was good. Without them,
Mhm.
it just there's no connection for me
No, yeah.
anyway. And I think with them being in the museum, like the Warrens Museum, it just felt so
Mhm.
much more personal and so much more scarier.
So speaking of the Warrens Museum, this might put you on the spot a little bit. Which cursed artifact introduced would you like to see spun off into his own film if they went further?
Ooh. Honestly, I would be able to tell you, but I'm kind of drawing a blank right now because there is a YouTube channel I watch called The Overnight, and they've just
Yeah.
bought the Warrens Museum.
Oh
They've just
wow.
bought it and they own it. And there is a creepy kind of like In a tunnel where, 'cause it's not just the Warrens, like actual like that place. There's a
Yeah.
tunnel, and there's loads of pictures on the wall that each represent something, and they've got one. I can't remember who it is now, but that those I'm drawn to those pictures. There's something behind those
Mm.
pictures, which would be really cool. I can't. I'm drawing a blank right now. I should have wrote something down from that YouTube channel.
I should have
Damn.
pre-warned you. I think for me, the African mask looking ones,
Yes,
the tiki masks, that that'd be really interesting. Maybe taking it away from sort of America and going into other cultures would be quite cool.
absolutely. Yeah, that's a good one.
So your number 5, you've put down as The Conjuring Last Rites, and obviously we spoke about that in a bit. We could probably move, but you think it's a fitting end to the Warren story on
Hmm.
screen?
I
Yeah.
do. Yeah, I think it was lovely. Like just lovely, heartfelt, poetic. I loved it so much. I'm such a sentiment to the love and admiration that you can see on screen between them. And I felt that when I was watching the movie. Just a love. I'm gonna tear up. I'm seeing lots of edits around the place on Twitter and TikTok, and it just makes me feel so wholesome.
So with it being the last in the Conjuring universe, what do you think the sort of lasting legacy of the whole universe will be in sort of horror history? It's one of the biggest horror franchises out there, one of the main ones, and with it
Mhm.
gone, does it spur other?
Oh, what I think personally that this will leave behind is obviously the legacy of Ed and Lorraine and what they created. Like their career is extraordinary. What they did and helped with families and what they tried to achieve by saving people and
Yeah.
understanding the paranormal. They didn't like. I know there's a lot of backstory and like other like whispers of them being media frenzy, greedy,
Hmm.
money people, hoaxes. But I personally believe otherwise because I've seen other like YouTube videos and things that I kind of explored them in depth. And I think their legacy of what they did and accomplished will be forever cemented and entwined with the paranormal genre.
Okay.
And going forward, like other films should probably take note about doing real life crimes, like based on true stories, like, Blair
Hmm.
Witch Project and things like that. Cause
I
it
think
feels more true and feels more real.
true stories add that little extra horror to it that actually
Mhm.
is this, whether you believe or not, can this actually happen? Is this actually
Mhm.
happening to people?
Yeah.
And obviously it's spurred you on to go and research the Warrens and look further into their lives and
Mhm.
what their experiences were,
Yeah.
which, and to put it on screen, and then to do that, to then get people to go and research further. I think it's
Mhm.
it's a big part of horror.
Mhm.
And like you said, being that true story does add that sort of little bit more element to it.
Yeah.
So your number 4 then is The Nun 2, which is obviously the second of the Nun series. So
Mhm.
what do you feel about this?
I loved The Nun 2 so much, so much. I think the Nun films in general are the best spin-offs in the franchise.
Hmm.
Introducing, I can never pronounce her name right, but Vera's sister, who plays Sister Irene, she
Hmm.
was just incredible. And I love how you can kind of see Vera in her when she acts. Like you can see how her eyes widen just like Lorraine's does in the movies. It's so the comparison and the familiarity is just fantastic. Yeah, The Nun 2 explored a lot more gore. It tampered with a lot more
Okay.
brutality, especially with the opening scene, and it messed around with the kids again. It put them at the forefront, especially with the young girl. Can't remember her name, but yeah, and Frenchie as well brought him back. It was just very familiar, still very scary, and yeah, I really like The Nun too.
So, so the main villain is Valak. Is that
Hmm.
right?
Valak, yeah.
How do you feel? How do you feel it sort of added to the mythology of that character? Did it add
Yeah,
more?
like yeah, the backdrop was explored more. You finally
Mhm.
understood what they were searching for, what they wanted, what power they were looking for, and it intensified the scares again by kind of messing with your visuals, with your mind. Like if I remember correctly, in the second one with the newspaper scene,
Okay. Yeah.
how they flip the newspapers and then she just comes into view. It was just so cleverly done. And there's one part on the wall where she's not there, and then all of a sudden she just becomes more clearer until she's like right there in your face and she just jumps out at you. I think it's the facial features of Bonnie Aarons. You know, she's just so scary to look at in real life. Like not
Yeah.
to like she's lovely, like she's a beautiful, but like the facial features, she's made for horror.
Hope you're not listening.
I love you. You're really great, but you scare me.
So then we might as well go on to the first one because that's your next one in the franchise.
Yes.
That wasn't
Yes.
critically wasn't critically looked at well, but obviously you taken something to this spin-off.
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
did you enjoy about the first nun to sort of that introduces Valak?
I think it was just the same as the second one, really.
Hmm.
It's the nun themselves, it's Valak, that just makes the film more impactful. Um, and
Yeah.
obviously in being introduced to Sister Irene, she was just a great character to root for and to really like a comfort character. The
Hmm.
same with Frenchie. It has a lot more comedy tones in this one as well, which I kind of liked with
Yeah.
specifically with Frenchie when he takes the big cross to the pub. I just thought that was just hilarious because I'd do the same thing, dude. I would carry a cross with me wherever if I was being haunted. Like you do right.
So why do you think then that Valak's origin story was so divisive amongst fans and critics?
I'm not sure. I don't really know because I I thought the nun was a strong character, like
Hmm.
a strong presence in the franchise, and she created a huge kind of like wave through the Warrens themselves and throughout the entire storyline. So I'm not really sure. I guess they just weren't a fan themselves,
No,
or I
well,
guess they
yeah,
just, for me, it just worked really well. A great character, like in the whole entire universe overall.
yeah. I was going to say, does it add? Do you think the character of the nun sort of adds that meaningful lore to the universe? Does
Hmm.
she does it add enough to the universe to sort of make it worthy of being in there?
Well, yeah, she's the strongest antagonist in the entire universe, and if
Hmm.
it wasn't for her presence overall, I don't think the Warrens would be as strongly connected as they are,
Okay.
considering the premonition that Valak gave Lorraine in the first couple of films. I think
Yeah.
like the nun did a lot more good in the franchise than Annabelle did.
Yeah. It's good. I like that. So your number two then is the first Conjuring film. I imagine
Hmm.
these two can swap round, the top two swap round fairly often.
Yeah,
Um,
they can. Yeah.
so the Warrens' introduction to the franchise, obviously being the
Hmm.
first one.
Hmm.
What did you think of this?
The
Do you remember
Conjuring
when you
is just
first watched it?
yes, I can remember being terrified and jumping and hiding behind a cushion,
Hmm.
and now even countless rewatches after, I still get that afraid, and I
Hmm.
still feel that unsettled, and that's just what I like from a horror film when it carries that effect over as many rewatches. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't lose its impact, it doesn't lose its meaning after however many years.
So this is actually one of the ones that I have seen, and I found that the sort of the slow burn and the atmosphere of the sort of farmhouse that they're in,
Mhm.
it really does make this sort of a true sort of horror, and I think it does. make it feel very different from other haunted house movies,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it elevated them to sort of the next level. What do you feel like it's done that for that sort of subgenre of horror films, those
Yeah.
haunted house films? Do you feel like it's elevated, it's made them go to the next level?
I hope so. I hope so. It's definitely a film to take notes from
Hmm.
because it's again in this one it doesn't rely on CGI. It's just well,
No.
apart from like some scenes where it's needed, but like it's all practical effects, and that is what films should strive for going forward because it's just so much more intense. Yeah, I'd like to think this film has and will continue to influence whatever comes forward because obviously like The Exorcist and all of that is what started all of this. So
Hmm.
for it to continue on, I definitely think The Conjuring will have some influence going forward.
I think a lot of those sort of 70s, 80s films, where at the time they were true horror, I'm not sure all of them have aged that well. I think we're at a point now where the original Conjuring only being 12 years old now, it probably will age a lot better than they will because, like you said, the use of practical effects is
Mhm.
good enough. And as long as they don't dive too far into CGI, it's so I think it will. I think it'll have a lasting legacy in the horror world,
Oh, for
which is
sure.
great. So then, your number one is The Conjuring 2.
Yeah.
Tell us what you like about it.
The Conjuring 2, I rewatched it the other day actually. I think is it Madeline Wolf or Maddie Wolf who plays the younger child?
Hmm.
Like her character was so great in the entire film. The complete heart of the movie. I just love how it introduced Valak. I'm still hoping we get a Crooked Man film somewhere down the line. Bill Wilkins was so creepy. The tent, like just so ominously in the hallway. Yeah, the film maximized its scares, it maximized the camera work and continued to explore the amazing relationship of the Warrens and the whole family dynamic in the film, how it wasn't just centered on one child, it was a couple of the children who
Okay.
were pulled into the paranormal.
Yeah. So this one was set in London.
Mhm.
How do you think that London setting changed the feel from that first Conjuring film being on a farmhouse and in the sort of in that
Yeah.
area?
Yeah, it was very different. It felt like obviously with the farmhouse, it's very like secluded, very isolated.
Hmm.
And it was just them in that house. Whereas this one was like in any old kind of cul-de-sac. Like they were
Hmm.
in a street of with loads of other houses. It felt more kind of idealistic, I guess,
Yeah.
because it was just like in a house on a street with just this like unbeknownst family, and it felt a lot more suspenseful, I guess, for
Hmm.
me.
I mean, I think in that sort of setting, you can probably relate to it a lot. A lot
Mhm.
more people can relate to it a lot more. You kind of expect a secluded farmhouse or secluded house in the middle of nowhere to have that sort of horror-y vibes to it. You don't
Mhm.
expect that on your neighbor next door kind of thing, do
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. No, like you don't expect it to happen like right next door to you. Like when you
Yeah.
watch this stuff, it happens on the TV, it happens in movies. You wouldn't actually think it would happen on the same street where you live.
No, no. So then that is your top 10. As you said, you could sort of swap in and out. They sort of move in and
Yeah.
out. Your Give us your overall thoughts of the Conjuring universe as a whole.
As a whole, I think as we've already said, it's gonna be a legacy universe.
Hmm.
It's very strong with its characters, it's very strong with its scares. The camera work is some of the best camera work like done with the long-winded shots from James Wan in the first one to the like kind of disarray and disorienting ones in The Nun. It's obviously had its best and its worst, but
Mhm.
as a whole, it's a great comfort universe to watch and kind of get attached to. But yeah, and it's ended on such a high note.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
overall. Yeah, I just think it's
So
one of those universes that is definitely something to watch or get to know if you want to be in the horror universe.
I think it's a good sort of stepping stone for people that are looking to get into horror. Is it a good
A good
universe to sort
gateway.
of go into?
Yeah.
What sort of universe do you think it sort of compares to, in your opinion?
Well, the Insidious universe, for one, with
Hmm.
the family aspect, paranormal activity with its,
I'm
its
never watching that film
scares.
again.
Get it, yeah. But yeah, I'd say it's just like similar to those. Maybe the Amityville horror as well, with their
Hmm.
farmhouse kind of life, all of them. Like
Yeah.
it's been influenced by a lot of past stories.
So then, for people that want to watch horror and stuff like that, do you just want to give us a couple of quick recommendations of films that you think people should go out there and watch if they like the Conjuring sort of films?
Ooh, Dead Silence for one. Dead Silence, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of like James Wan specifically, if you're a
Hmm.
fan of, creepy dolls and old creepy women, you know, Dead Silence is. Yeah, that's a good film if you like the Conjuring
Hmm.
universe. Give Dead Silence a go. Yeah, it's kind of an underrated
Excellent.
gem, actually. I think very
I've not heard of
underrated.
it, so I will
Let me
go and
pick
check
my
it out.
jaw up off the floor.
I will add
Wow,
it to my watch list. See,
absolutely.
I'm fairly new to the horror genre. I've been trying to sort of dive into it a little bit more than I would have. Growing up, I hated all the sort of paranormal stuff. Quite happy with gore. Anything that could actually happen to me, happy to watch it. Turns into ghosts. No.
No, I get it. I get it.
I think we tried to watch The Babadook a couple of years ago, and I think we turned it off after about half an hour.
I applaud you for that because that kid in that film is so annoying. Just turn it off. Never watch it again.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for
It's been
having me.
fun seeing your views on a universe that you obviously have a passion for. And anyone that wants to have a read of Shauna's feature, it's now live on our website, so head over to Film Focus Online for that. And for more of our work, go to filmfocusonline.com, find us on all socials at Film Focus Online, listen to us on our podcast, watch us on YouTube. And again, thank you for joining me, and goodbye.
Goodbye.